now battle reside, resistance with all my might. We're not alone, we're coming down, all gone cold. This is the abduction. We can carry you now, we'll set you down and lift off over the meadow. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I want to give you a brief history of Scrap Rabbit for the first 10 years since this now marks the 11th year. Scrap Rabbit is a gothic, somewhat cartoonish project I started in August of 2010. I had already written and composed loads of songs prior with projects like Ossivosa, which is a play on the word corrosive, and an acronym for All We See Is Very Empty or Somehow Is Very Enlightened, which lasted from only 2007 until 2009. Then in my teens with Garbage Dog tape single, followed by Intolerable Injustice, the 1-2 All Tears / Killer B-side, Scrap Menu, Scrap Demos, Hand in Hand, Sunflower, Heat Pile Monster, and Torture Wheel, which was a 90-minute compilation of deformed and warped audio from various other tapes, to name a few. My first recordings were actually done when I was 10 or 11 and sounded similar to 1920 singing and were improvised around titles. In TA in middle school, I remember singing one of my made-up songs from like 10 minutes before the teacher finally said, "All right, Joey, that's enough." Many of these recordings have been recorded over, and others are in stored boxes of some of my old unnamed tapes. And if you look through a few of those tapes, some of them that are online right now, you can actually find some of those tracks hidden in some of the tapes, because I didn't record over them. It'd take me hours to go through all the history of my first cassettes. Wake the fuck up! Anyway, back to 2010 with the first recordings made on tape, the Dead Ringer and Dead Ringer demos, which features lots of tracks written the year prior and were rough ideas, sort of sketches, if you will, of songs. My ideas were way better than what I could do at the time. The next year, several more tapes were made, and my first albums, which were long and fairly rough and done at fast speed, with long, sometimes 12-hour days working on them, taking audio from several of the previously made tapes and creating the artwork. A lot was to be learned from the process over time, and still to this day, it's a never-ending learning process. 2012 made the most tapes ever, with sometimes more than one a day being recorded. Over 300 were made that year. 15 albums were also made from tracks from the albums. 2013 made my first music videos like Eraser Pick, Commando, Corkscrew, Nothing Too Great to Keep, Rolling On, Garbage Dog, and more. 2014 made even more videos with over 100 on YouTube, and a comic series was made out of my middle school series drawings. 2015 made several more albums in the fall. 2016 onward, more songs and videos made. Extensive new Haste Chaser series of rare and random tracks were recreated in 2020 to feature new material that didn't fit anywhere and gave freedom to do whatever in the project, with more or less, with 60 volumes made in the first year of its inception alone, with dozens of EPs, tapes, albums, and singular videos also visualized as well that year. I like to work on this project about 6 to 7 days a week, around 35 hours a week as of now. Daily videos can be expected for a long time to come, and hopefully this decade proves to be better for me. Thanks for listening.